In the short film Childer, we follow a mother whose obsession with cleanliness takes a deadly turn. This film is pretty fucked up, but as you watch, you'll find that there are so many details throughout the film that foreshadow the ending. When the little boy asks his mom where Childer come from, she corrects his mispronunciation and explains that children come from a cabbage patch at the bottom of the garden. The mom, who's obsessed with cleanliness, watches the forest from her front yard. When a group of children make their presence known, she tells them to go home. "We are home," they respond. Fed up, the mom heads back inside. Her son asks if he can go outside and play. She gives him permission, but warns him to stay away from the weird children in the forest because they're dirty. While giving her son a snack, she watches on anxiously as he consumes his messy meal. But the entire time he's speaking, she's more worried about the potential mess he might create while eating. When a single drop of egg yolk plops onto the table, she freaks out and reprimands her son. He apologizes, but she tells him it isn't his fault. That night, she wakes up screaming from a dream about vines wrapping around her. While hanging up her laundry to dry, the children from the woods lodge dirt at her white sheets. She runs after them and begs them to stay away from her son. When she heads back to complete her chores, she notices that her son is gone. Panicked, she follows the trail of blood leading back into her house and finds her son being cared for by the mailman after having lost a tooth. To make matters worse, there's blood all over the floor. She grows so upset with the mailman's intrusion that she hangs up a no trespassers sign in the front of her house. In the morning, her son tells her about costume day at school and wishes to have a cool costume like all the other children. She says she can make him into a ghost, but he wants something cooler. The children from the woods approach her while she's doing more cleaning, like vacuuming her fucking front lawn, but this time, one of them is carrying a frog. One of the boys tells her that his sister died after getting caught kissing a frog, and the mother tells them once more to go away. While cleaning the tub, vines sprout up from the drain. She plucks it before heading out into the hallway, where she follows the convenient sounds of a croaking frog. She spots her son climbing up the stairs while holding a cage. He explains that it's his turn to watch the class frog over the Halloween holidays. She's enraged at first, but eventually agrees under the condition that he keeps the frog outside. The son heads outside to play while the mom heads upstairs. After pulling back his covers, she finds a dead frog laying in the bed. She looks out the window and spots the children from the woods, standing by her son in the front yard. This time they're adorning animal masks. She runs outside to find her son, but becomes overwhelmed when she finds herself in the middle of the forest, surrounded by dirt. She's covered in filth when she gets home, and to make things worse, her son is too. She gives him a bath and reprimands him about the warning she made previously about staying away from those children. Her son pleads as she ducks his head beneath the water and drowns him. And when he's dead, she buries him in the exact place she said children come from, and that place is in the cabbage patch in the backyard. This film incorporated visually bright elements, which sort of tricks the watcher into believing it won't be as dark as it is. The woman also appears prim and proper, which makes her appear a lot more innocent than she actually is. However, this film takes a twisted turn when you least expect it. Based on my interpretation, the children in the forest are the souls of the children that came before her current son. In the beginning, she tells him that children come from the cabbage patch in the backyard, and if you look carefully, you'll see that there are 5 other cabbage patches that symbolize all 5 of the children in the film. This may insinuate that the mother had already been preparing for her son's death. The mother also makes disturbing remarks throughout the film.
Children come from a cabbage patch at the bottom of the garden. It's nearly November. Why aren't they dead yet? Ghosts are not for girls. Ghosts are for everyone.
All these things are chilling revelations of the mother's true twisted persona. In the beginning, she tells the children to go home. When they respond saying they are home, they aren't lying. This was once their home, and now they are doomed to haunt the land after being murdered by their mother. There are different ways this film could be interpreted. One may interpret the story as a woman whose obsession with mess becomes so overwhelming that dirt made her feel unsafe. Perhaps her obsession with mess, especially dirt, arose from PTSD she developed after burying so many children, and as their souls hang around to constantly remind her of her evil deeds, her condition just gets worse and worse. In the end, I believe that the children showed the boy what really lies beneath the cabbage patch, and that's why he's covered in dirt when he gets back home. When he's in the bathtub, he seems terrified of his mother because he probably knows what she's about to do to him. Another interpretation could be that the woman kidnapped all the children in the forest, including the boy we believe to be her son. This may explain why they live in the middle of the forest with no neighbors and only one visitor. The boy speaks speaks about attending school and tells his mother and the mailman that his teacher is having a baby. But is he really attending school? What if the teacher he talks about is actually the same lady pretending to be his mom? We never actually see him going to school, even though he claims that he does. But kids will recite anything you tell them, and if she told him that what he's attending is school, then he's probably just going to repeat that over to whoever he encounters. And even when he gets the chance to wear his costume, he doesn't go to school. He just heads out to play in the backyard. He says he goes to school, but we never actually see him go to school. And yes, he does come home with a caged frog, but honestly, he could have got that frog from anywhere. He could have even got that frog from the childer. It was very convenient that the childer just appeared before the mother, and one of them was holding a frog, and they were speaking about frogs, and then the son came home with a frog, you know? Kind of convenient, don't you think so? Also, the mother became weirdly defensive whenever the mailman came around, as if she didn't want anyone to see the boy. And I kind of understand her hesitation, since the mailman shouldn't be gallivanting in her house like that, but still, she was acting pretty suspicious. I know that theory is loaded with plot holes, but you know, like, it still came to my mind and I thought I should share it. On the other hand, maybe she's very traumatized by her old life. We have no idea where the boy's other parent is, and there must be a reason to explain why she secluded her and her son away from the rest of civilization. Additionally, maybe she's a victim of sexual assault. Someone in the comment section on YouTube explained a connection between fear of mess and fear of sex. In these cases, fear of sex comes from shame and the idea that sex is dirty. Maybe this could explain why she was so cold towards the mailman, and it can also explain why she's so scared of dirt and mess. If this is the case, then maybe the children are the result of what she perceived to be shameful and dirty acts. She makes sure that her son is prim and proper and clean at all times, and maybe this is because she wants to preserve the innocence and purity that children often represent. In the end, this film is a pretty disturbing tale on someone's obsession overwhelming them to the point where they begin to harm others. And I definitely encourage everyone to watch and leave a comment down below about what you perceive the film to mean and what you think the deeper meaning is.